calves? How many gopis? No one can measure. No one can understand Krishna. Krishna Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena can only be understood by love, by the self of love. He only reveals himself. He cannot be understood by our speculation, by our experimentation, by our intellect. When Krishna reveals himself, then these mysteries can be understood. We see with Lord Brahma, both in Vrindavan and in Dwarka, how he was perplexed. Krishna completely perplexed him. He didn't know what was going on. Here in Vrindavan, he thought that he would show off. Sometimes we like to show off our material qualities, our material knowledge, or whatever we've got. So Lord Brahma, being the greatest created being in the universe, he wanted to show off his opulence a little bit. He became doubtful whether Krishna was God. This little boy, playing with the cowherd boys, stealing other boys' lunch packs. Is this really my Lord? I better test it out and see. So he became a little proud, and he challenged the Lord. The Lord playfully took the challenge and allowed Lord Brahma to apparently steal the calves from the cowherd boys. Although it is described that those calves and cowherd boys were not the original calves and cowherd boys. They were creations of Krishna's Mahamaya. Because one in such a mentality, even if they're a great devotee, in such a mentality, they have no access to the transcendental forms of Krishna's cowherd boys or calves. They can't touch them, any more than Ravana could touch Sita. So Brahma, although he's a great devotee, at that time was in a non-devotional mentality. There's a bit of a plan going on there. One of the thoughts of Lord Brahma was, prior to this incident, was, let me do something whereby Krishna will perform such activities more amazing than anything else he's ever done. Which, from the majestic point of view, he did. It's very much a majestic or reverential, you could say, manifestation, which also ended up in intensive, loving reciprocation. But from Brahma's point of view, it was a majestic proof, reverential proof that Krishna is God. And so then he thought, let me do something where Krishna will perform some activity more amazing than any others. And by such an activity will prove that he alone is the supreme personality of Godhead. Those were his initial thoughts, which of course we hear mostly the nature of Brahma, where he appeared to be very proud. He was in the mood of pride, and Krishna smashed his pride. Krishna is very kind like that with his devotees. If we become a little proud sometimes, if we're lucky, Krishna will smash our pride. We say, well, that's not very lucky, but that's actually good fortune. When our pride is, given a good slap, whether it's an Indra, whether it's a Brahma, whoever it may be, another demon. It's a demoniac mentality which sometimes in this material world even devotees appear to manifest, pride. So Krishna smashed Lord Brahma's pride, fully satisfied his desires, and more than anything else, fully satisfied the desires of all the residents of Vrindavan by personally expanding himself. When Brahma apparently stole, the kind of Mayic reflections almost of those boys and locked them up in caves, and it appeared that they disappeared. Although they hadn't disappeared, It appeared that they had disappeared. It's a very mystical performance. So, for the sake of the perception of others, Krishna, and for fulfilling their desires, Krishna expanded himself in identical forms of calves and cowherd boys. Nobody could recognize the slightest difference between them and the original boys. Even their mentality, their movements, everything, their emotions, everything about them, nobody could detect. Even Lord Balaram could not detect. Lord Balaram was not there that day. It was his birthday or something. He wasn't there that day when Lord Brahma stole away the calves and the cowherd boys. He wasn't there that day. But even he could not detect that anything had happened for almost a year. However, there's another, in this case, the mystical arrangement of Yogamaya, that all the mothers were increasingly, ever increasingly, unlimitedly increasing their love for their own children, and for the cows for their calves. Why? Because now their children were nothing but an expansion, a direct expansion of Krishna. Not plenary, because they're all in different forms as such. But they're Krishna himself, manifest in those forms to reciprocate love with the gopis and with the cows, who were hankering to have the opportunity which Mother Yasoda had. She's the mother, eternal mother of Krishna. Others can assist her. Others can be in that mood. But nobody can become Mother Yasoda. Nobody. You may have some other way of being the mother, the nurse, or maybe another form of Krishna. But in this case, each and every one of the mothers had the direct opportunity to be the mother of Krishna, who is Krishna, manifesting in the form of their sons and behaving like their sons. So thus they were able to have that full opportunity, but they didn't. This is how Yogamaya works. All forms of anything which takes away from spontaneous love, Yogamaya makes sure doesn't interfere with that relationship. So their relationship, for 1 year they had this opportunity as their own sons, under the shelter of Yogamaya, who didn't know anything was happening. It was like time didn't exist. They were still there, although it seemed like they weren't there, on the banks of the Yamuna enjoying a picnic. And time passed like that for them. From the residents of Vrindavan, it appeared to be a year. They were unaware. And from Lord Brahma's point of view, it was a moment. He, after he stole the calves and cowherd boys, he was thinking, within a moment, just a flick of an eye, he thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? And immediately he went to check it out. Sometimes we do something, and then we think, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. So we immediately try to, what's going on? So he did, and then he became very perplexed, because at that point of time, the expansions of Krishna were all again in the forest, enjoying a picnic with Krishna on the banks of the Yamuna, just like they'd done before, and they looked exactly as they did a year before, a moment in Brahma's life. So he said, what's going on? And saw the calves were still in the same place in the forest. What happened? Am I dreaming? Did I really steal them? He had a quick look in the caves. Yes, there they are. They appear to be sleeping. Then he looked again. What's going on? Something strange here. What's happening? I didn't have too much to drink last night. No, he didn't know what was going on. He was perplexed, completely bewildered as to what is happening. Krishna, of course, could see his bewilderment. And then, for the sake of his, let's say, fulfillment of Lord Brahma's desire, then all those calves and cowherd boys transformed into four-armed forms. Because Lord Brahma, in the position of Lord Brahma, he is basically worshipping the Lord in Aishvarya, reverential worship. Even if at heart he has another mood. But that's his mood, reverential. Teaching others to worship Lord reverentially also. We see even in the Brahma Sampradaya that generally it's a reverential mood. Only from the time of Madhavendra Puri, did this conjugal mood manifest. So he's in the reverential mood, and Lord therefore showed his that these forms are actually me in my Narayan form, forearm form, and the calf, everything. He was completely astounded. Millions and millions, he could see all of them transforming into varieties of Narayan forms. And then not only that, but countless Brahmas and countless Shivas. Lord Shiva's appeared on the scene also. Forms of Lord Shiva, expansions, appeared on the scene, also bowing down before Lord Narayan. And Brahma of this universe was witnessing all these inconceivable events. And he was completely mind blown, as he's saying. What do I know? Lord Brahma said, I'm just like an insect in a pot. I know nothing about the greatness of the Supreme. He realized his opulences, his knowledge were insignificant. That's Lord Brahma. What to speak of the insignificant persons on this planet who are considering themselves knowledgeable, powerful, absolutely insignificant. No more significant than an ant. Amongst ants, maybe one ant is more powerful. But who cares? The human society, what do they care about that? It means nothing. So as so-called opulences in this world are insignificant in the face of the Lord, even in the face of Brahma. The Lord Brahma was humbled. And of course Krishna then again withdrew his curtain, and again he appeared like a little boy looking for his calves and cowherd boyfriends. And the pastime then went on. And then they reappeared and life went on. But Krishna, like this, he fulfills all desires. The cowherd boys, the calves, Brahma, the mothers, the cows, and us, because we can hear these pastimes. And hopefully become a little less overwhelmed with our so-called qualities, which are nothing but tiny reflections of the qualities of the Absolute. Tiny reflections. Like a person's becoming enamored by the picture in the mirror. Oh, sometimes we become very enamored by it. It's a reflection. Tiny, tiny reflection in the mirror. You can captivate. This material world is just a reflection of the spiritual realm. And Krishna sometimes manifests within this reflection to help us to become purified at heart. To purify our hearts. Because when we see a picture of Krishna, I was looking this morning at a picture of Krishna, a painting of Radharani holding the mirror. And when we hold a mirror in our hands, what do we think? There's a famous English pun, huh? Mirror, mirror, how's it go? On the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? Me. As we're looking in the mirror. Prahlad Nanda Maharaj, who we give in class, he often quotes that. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? It's the mirror says you, and we say me. It's me! I'm the fairest. Look at me. Whoa. Ugly looking thing, but we think we're handsome or something. There's a reflection. The whole material world's a reflection. When Radharani looks in the mirror, what does she see? Of course, for making herself look beautiful for Krishna, she may also see, but what does she see normally when she looks in the mirror? Huh? Krishna. So this painting has a picture. If you look in the mirror, there's a picture of Krishna in the mirror. Everywhere she looks, she sees Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness, because she's a personification of Krishna consciousness, of this highest form of love of Krishna. We can't imitate that, but we can remember and try to see everything on our level. We see in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna, again, several times. There are many places in the Gita, isn't it, where Krishna helps Arjuna to understand his position and to appreciate or to be able to see or kind of remember Krishna's presence in this material world. Who knows which chapters deal particularly with this subject of being able to see Krishna's presence within the material world. Who knows? Bhagavad Gita. Anybody know? Come on, scholars. Pardon?
Matasthani Sarvabhutani.
Well, say the chapter. I want to know the chapter number.
Chapter 10.
Chapter 10, okay. Chapter 10, opulence of the Absolute. There, Krishna, because Arjuna wanted to hear. Now, child, you want to hear about Krishna's presence within the material world. How his opulences are manifested in this world. Everything is an expansion of Krishna. Nothing is really separate, but it appears to be. The material world things appear to be separated from Krishna, but in reality, everything is coming from Krishna. Everything is resting on Krishna. Everything is connected to Krishna. We just don't see its connection to Krishna. Just like we look at this fan right now, without knowledge, well, I don't know what you'd make of that. Maybe some living entity there who's spinning around. We don't know its connection to the power source. As soon as the connection is broken, it has no more capacity. So the living entities in this world, we don't know our connection with our source. We think it's mine, ours, some kind of chance happening or what. We don't know how the power, the opulence, the beauty, etc., which we, relatively speaking, may perceive, how that comes from Krishna. Through the effects of the modes of nature, sometimes coming out in a negative way, sometimes coming out in the mode of ignorance, and therefore, what we call, misbehavior or suffering or whatever it may be in this world manifests due to the effect of the mode of ignorance. These things may be there. We have the different modes, so different pictures come up, and the pictures in this material world change because the modes of nature change. The colors and the shapes, they're changing. And some we like and some we don't like. The material world, duality. But it's all ultimately coming from Krishna, like light is coming from the sun, and it's reflected by coming in contact with different objects, and different colors manifest, different shapes manifest, and so on. Reflections due to contact of the light with various objects. So similarly, Krishna's opulence is when contacted with the consciousness of the living entity, manifest in various ways. We may call form, body, this, that, the other. If the energy itself is the energy of Krishna, and the living entity's consciousness. It probably gives the example of like on a riverbank. When there's a tree on a riverbank, we look in the river, you see the reflection upside down. No river, no reflection. The tree is there, but there's no reflection. So simply in this material universe, the spiritual realm, you could say, is reflected on the desire or the consciousness of the living entity. According to our consciousness, different living entities are experiencing and perceiving different situations of the material energy. It appears differently to them. But that reflection in the material as a reflection is according to the particular consciousness. So when the consciousness is very disturbed, you see a very disturbed picture. When one's in a mode of ignorance, one sees a very ignorant, degraded situation, dirty situation. So when one's in a mode of goodness, then things are a little bit more heavenly, more peaceful, more pleasing materially. Like that, different modes according to are acting on different living entities according to their, we say, consciousness, their desires, the reactions from their previous lifetime, which at the present moment you could say is their consciousness, or the atmosphere in which the soul is perceiving or existing and interacting with the material world. So the living entities in this way are bewildered and cannot see beyond it. It's like an ant or a little bug inside of an apple. It doesn't know. It can't see outside of the apple, practically speaking. The apple is its world. It's lived there, born there, eating into. That's its universe. We're like that. We're stuck in this little pot of the universe. Tiny, tiny little pot. Birth after birth after birth. So Krishna comes into this or let's say manifests himself. He's here, but he's not manifest. Sometimes he manifests himself. But that again is not very easy to see. Very rare and very difficult to understand or see. So he appears in other ways which are more accessible. As we see in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that he's explaining to Arjuna how all the wonderful things that we see in this universe are but a spark of his splendor. They're all coming from him. Whether it's the power of a shark, or the greatness of the Himalayas, or the oceans, or the knowledge of certain persons, whatever it is, it all rests, all the beauty of this world, it all comes from Krishna, and it manifests partially in the reflections of this universe. We can realize that it has its origin in Krishna. So Arjuna wanted to hear about it. He was fully satisfied. He completely accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord, but for the sake of others, he wanted Krishna to explain it. And then, of course, you could say, anyone could say what Krishna said. So then Arjuna asked him, he wanted to see it manifest. So in the 11th chapter, Krishna manifests his power and his opulence in this world by revealing the universal form, the Vishvarup form, to Arjuna, to convince him and everyone else that he is the supreme origin, the supreme Lord, the Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. He's the Adi Purush, the original person. So he manifests this form of the universal form, but still, people in general, who without proper understanding still, they consider that to be the absolute form. But this Vishvarup is only a temporary form, manifest within the material world, very rarely manifest to the eye of a conditioned soul. But here Krishna manifested it, but it's a temporary form. It's not one of the eternal forms. It's a naimittika, or temporary form of the Lord. So the real form, even at the end of the 11th chapter, Arjuna was he was overwhelmed. He wanted to see the four-armed form which Krishna had manifested. And he said, I want to see your original form, that beautiful form, that form where you can have the highest loving relationship. So Vrindavan, this place Vrindavan, during the month of Kartik, this is the ideal time where we can try to cultivate our relationship with Krishna. So we can have an eternal relationship with Krishna in that two-armed, beautiful form who performed his pastimes here in Vrindavan. We may see temples of other forms of Krishna here, but actually in Vrindavan they don't really have their pastimes. Lord Ramachandra doesn't suddenly pop up on Govardhan Hill. Hey, Lakshman, what's that over there? They don't have. This realm is for Krishna and his most confidential associates. But they're making it possible for us to at least hear about it, at least have the opportunity to remember a little bit about it, and maybe become attracted. That's the idea. By hearing about something, we may become attracted. For those who are in the mode of ignorance may not be. But those who are a little bit fortunate, they may become attracted to these pastimes of Krishna. And it's great fortune if we are. And that's made available through the media of great devotees, those who have an attraction. How can you awaken something in someone else if we don't have it in ourselves? If I don't have any money, how can I give any money? One has to have it to, you can repeat something, but to actually give it, you have to have it. You can indicate something, but as we may be trying to do. But those who've really got that love for Krishna, in their presence, love for Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhu Kavanai Shravanadi Shurachiti Karyudai, which is dormant within our hearts, or within the very inner core of the living entity's consciousness, that love of Krishna can be awoken in the presence of one who has it. So powerful is their association. It's like in the presence of very strong heat, you become hot. Very cold, you become cold. By association, it affects us. Hiranyakashipu, he quote Hiranyakashipu, Hari Bhakti Sudadaya, when he was talking to his family members, he said, and Prahlad included, that that association is just like a crystal which reflects whatever comes before it. So association is very important. And in the case of spiritual association, helps to awaken, even though he may be covered, but at least for that time, awaken that spiritual spark within all of us. We become inspired, fired up, sometimes we say. When one sits in front of a pure devotee, we sit in front of Prabhupada, listen to Prabhupada attentively, it can awaken that spark, clear away the coverings, the dirt, in a good, ecstatic kirtan. Devotees dancing and chanting, forget the bodily concept of life and get swept away in the waves of this Sankirtan, which is at our stage, of course we don't see it, but it's actually nothing but a performance of the internal pastimes of the Lord, relishing relationship with his most intimate associates, dancing and singing. And we're just being given a chance, you could say, to get on board. But we may not take it so much. But this is the opportunity. So the Lord appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, to make that accessible, to make Radha and Krishna's pastimes accessible to conditioned souls. Otherwise we have no qualification. They've made it accessible through this Sankirtan movement. So this is another way the Lord appears accessible to conditioned souls through this Sankirtan, through the chanting process, particularly this chanting and dancing. I don't know how many thousands of times he mentions it. The essence of our movement is kirtan, chanting and dancing, and playing musical instruments, but they're there to enhance the chanting and the dancing, so they can enter deeper into the kirtan, deeper and deeper. It's not a question of just being on the surface. Most of the time we're on the surface. We're still kind of, let's say, relating to the kirtan according to our conditioned situation, likes and dislikes and what have you. So many things are there, covering or blurring our understanding of the holy name or of Krishna and Radha and Krishna. But in the right association again, in the kirtan, keep chanting, gradually that pride which is covering us, that attachment which is covering us, can be cleared, purified, cleared away. And it's not a question then of something new happening. It's already there in the heart. Love of God is already there in our heart. It's awoken by Shravanadi Shuddhachiti Kari Udai, by hearing and chanting purely, just as the sun rises in the morning and everything becomes clear. We don't have to, in nighttime, a little torch, electric light bulb. But when the sun rises, what is the need of an electric light bulb? Not required. So the pure devotees of the Lord, who are constantly carrying Krishna in their hearts, the Lord is, you could say, reflecting through them, manifesting his light through them to enlighten us. In the association of pure devotees, we may become enlightened. We may take a little time. It takes time to wake up. In the morning sometimes we're a little slow. And we do have we go back again, wait, attraction to the reflection. A long time. We were hearing this morning Prabhupada saying how it's not easy. It's so deep down in our consciousness, this attraction for the material energy. But beyond that is our attraction to Krishna. We just have to uncover it. So it does take a little bit of austerity to work our way through that. So many things, all sorts of different reactions to that, how we respond to situations, how we're affected by situations, all materially, all based upon this false ego and the consequent covered consciousness and the various desires which manifest as a result of that, and consequently the various conditionings which we see ourselves in this material world, and we react accordingly. Humans are just a little bit sophisticated animals in one sense. They also respond like that, based upon their own condition, not in relationship with Krishna so much. So the pure devotees teach us how to see everything in relationship with Krishna. So gradually our whole being, when we say being in terms of body, mind, intellect, consciousness, everything, gradually becomes connected again, consciously connected with Krishna. And then when we're connected, when the plug is connected, then the energy comes and the fan works. And you get what we're really, really looking for. We think we're going to get it in this material world, but the happiness, the love, which we're all looking for, cannot be found in this material world. We may try for eternity. We will never find it. You only get a little drop, partial, and then it's lost. Then it's gone. It's gone. Or something changes. We don't like it anymore. It's the nature of this material world. Whereas the real happiness and love is eternal. Eternal. We're meant to be part of that pleasure potency, or at least in that pleasure potency of Krishna. We can return to that, or we can enter into that pleasure potency. But we have to have the right consciousness. So chanting the holy names of Krishna is a specific process which our acharyas, which Lord Chaitanya has brought to give us that chance to become eligible to enter into that transcendental, the Chit Shakti, the internal energy of the Supreme Personality of the Lord, spiritual realm. So we can actually not just hear about these pastimes, but enter into them, and one will never want to go anywhere else. We'll have no interest in anything else. It takes time in Vrindavan. It's a lot easier to remember that and to have the association to awaken it. Because we just did a little kirtan from the Goshal to here. Almost everyone on the way, everyone's a devotee, isn't it? Everyone was clapping or singing or something, looking. You do that in the Western world and most parts of the world, they're not so interested. But here everyone automatically feels an attraction towards Krishna. It's Vrindavan. So nice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So any questions? Mukunda Madhava Prabhu.
Civilization without the Krishna conscious teaching, human type of civilization is no better than two-legged animals.
Whew.
Yeah.
Dui Padi Pashu, two-legged animals. Yeah. Worse in many ways, because animals act exactly according to their expected nature. They're not held responsible in that lifetime. But a human being is responsible. So if a human being wastes this human form of life, it's a great shame. If we waste it just trying to eat, sleep, mate and defend, which is what the animals are doing, then we've really wasted our human life. What are we doing? What's that song in the songbook? Is it Parama Karuna? Shri Shri Gaurnichananda Doya? Where's my glasses? They fell down somewhere. Okay. Let's have a look. We'll sing a bhajan. Where's the songbooks? I think I brought them. I did. Thank you for reminding us of this beautiful song. I think it's this one. Maybe it's not this one. No, it must be another song. I don't know which one it is. There's a song which Prabhupada talks about this. What are they doing in this human life? They're wasting their human life. Just living like animals. Anyway, I'm not going to find it now. Well, we'll sing it anyway. Shri Shri Gaur Nityananda Daya, page 101 in this book. We've got a few more in the bag. You can find it on your mobile maybe. It's Shri Shri Gaur Nityananda Daya by Lochan Das Thakur. Parama Karuna. I'll read the translation. This is a song by Lochan Das Thakur. Pahu means Lord, and Dui Jana means two. Lochan Das Thakur declares that the two Lords, Nitai Gaurachandra, Lord Nitai and Lord Chaitanya, are very merciful, Parama Karuna. Sabha Avatara Sarashiromani. Avatar means incarnation and Sabha means all. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that prosecuting their way of self-realization is simply joyful, for they introduce chanting and dancing. There are many incarnations like Lord Rama, and even Krishna, who taught Bhagavad Gita, which requires knowledge and understanding. But Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda introduced a process that is simply joyful. Simply chant and dance. Therefore Lochan Das requests everyone, Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai. My dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm faith and conviction. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead to the desired goal. It will. It is the assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one will get all perfection by this process. Therefore one must chant with firm faith and conviction. But what is the process? The process is Vishayacharya Se Rase Majiya. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. That is the only restriction. Pretty tall restriction. Give up her engagement in sense gratification. As we heard this morning from Sankarshan Prabhu, it's transferring it towards Krishna. If one gives up sense gratification, it is sure that he will reach the desired goal. Mukhe bolo Hari Hari. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hari Hari, without any motive of sense gratification. Dekore bai tribhuvane nai. Lochan Das Thakur says, my dear brother, you just try and examine this within the three worlds. There is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda, because their merciful qualities are so great, they make even birds and beasts cry. What to speak of human beings? Actually, when Lord Chaitanya passed through the forest known as Jharkhand, the tigers, elephants, snakes, deer, and all other animals joined him in chanting Hare Krishna. It's so nice that anyone can join. Even the animals can join. What to speak of human beings? Of course, it is not possible for ordinary men to induce animals to chant, but if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could inspire animals to chant, at least we can encourage human beings to adopt the path of Hare Krishna mantra chanting. It is so nice that even the most stone-hearted man will be melted. Pasana means stone. It is so nice that even stone will melt. But Lochan Das Thakur regrets that he is entrapped in sense gratification. He addresses himself, my dear mind, you are entrapped in a sense gratification process and have no attraction for chanting Hare Krishna. Since you have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, what can I say? What can I say? I can simply think of my misfortune. Yamaraj, the superintendent, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. It's kind of a reverse statement, because he's saying because we're attracted to sense gratification, we come under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj, and thus we'll have no attraction for this movement. Not that Yamaraj is at fault, but that's his job. Puts living entities into various species of life, etc. And it's the responsibility of the devotees to go into such situations and to try to help people, even if they are under the grips of karma, being punished by Yamaraj or whatever it is, to try to wake them up. Even in hell, sometimes it's said that the devotees, the Lord himself sometimes go there to relieve the suffering living entities there. So we can do a little bit in this material world. Prabhupada one time, one devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, you're doing more than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who only preached in India. Huh? You're preaching all over the world. You're delivering people all over the world. Lord Chaitanya Prabhupada said, no, you cannot say that. Lord Chaitanya, he delivered the animals in the forest. And then the devotee said, but Prabhupada, in the jungle, Prabhupada said, you're delivering the... Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya delivered the animals in the jungle. Then the devotee said, but Srila Prabhupada, you're also delivering the animals in the jungle. The concrete jungles of the West. Said New York is a concrete jungle. And the living entities are Dvipadi Pashus. They're two-legged animals. So you're delivering the animals in the concrete jungle. It's true. If I did a miracle. I mean, really. One thing to join a movement, it's another thing to do a few press-ups and a few sniffs. It's another thing to learn a few verses here and there and sing nicely. But to change the heart, to actually change people's heart, that they give up sense gratification and become mad for Krishna, that is almost unheard of in the whole universe. But Srila Prabhupada is doing it now. I mean, maybe a little slow, but it's going on. So this is the process, and here it says the process is dancing and chanting. It's simple. So we'll sing this song. Parama karuna no pahorui jana nitai gora chara. Anybody there? Parama karuna pahuru vijana nitai gora chara. Pahuru vijana nitai gora chara. Sabhavatara Shara Shiromani Kevala Nanda Kando. Sabhavatari Shara Shiromani Kevala Nanda Kando. Kevalananda Kanda. Bhajo bhajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudhira Vishwasa Kori. Bhajo bhajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudhira Vishwasa Kori. Vishaya Chariya Sera Se Majiya মুখে বলো হরে হরে। বিষয় ছাড়িয়া সে রসে মাঝিয়া মুখে বলো হরে হরে। মুখে বলো হরে হরে। কে করে বাই ত্রিভুবনে নাই এ মন দয়াল দাতা। কে করে ভাই ত্রিভুবনে নাই হে মন দয়াল দাতা। পশু পাখি জোরে পাষাণ বেদরে শুনি যারা গুণগাথা। পশু পাখি জুড়ে ভাষণ বেদুরে শুনি যারা গুণগাথা। সংসারে মাঝিয়া রহিলে পড়িয়া সে ফারে নাহিল আশা। সংসারে মাঝিয়া রহিলে পড়িয়া সে ফারে নাহিল আশা। अपना करम भुंजे समान लोक लोचन दाता। अपना करम भुंजे समान कोहे लोचन दाता। कोहे लोचन दाता। परम करुणा पाहुदुरी जना निताय गौर चंद्र। 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, oh! It's I. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Parama Karuna, Pahore Jana. Nitai Gaurachandra Parama Karuna Pamurvijana Nitai Gaurachandra Nitai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Radha Shama Sundar Lalita Vashaka ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Brihat Maranga ki jai. Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Vishnu Vitlaya Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vichari Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Pastacharya Shatari. Hare Krishna. So wherever you are, in Russia, India, Fiji, France, Hyderabad, where else are we? Wherever you are, New Zealand, the world, Nepal, wherever you're going or coming from or going to, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is everywhere in the form of his merciful Sankirtan, this form of Krishna, Sankirtanam. So we can associate with Krishna everywhere. It may sometimes be hard to see Krishna when you're looking at the Eiffel Tower, in Paris. It's a tall building, attractive to many people. So you can see Krishna is all attractive. The Eiffel Tower is also attracting people, so that's some potency of Krishna there. You can see, but at least we can chant Hare Krishna if they let us. Or we can chant even if they don't let us. But chant Hare Krishna and distribute this knowledge, even if we ourselves may not have any realization. But at least we can distribute the books of the words of Srila Prabhupada, so that people can get his association, right? There's so many wonderful books around, isn't it? Different devotees are writing this book, that book, but if we hear the words of the pure devotee, that's going to have the real effect. It's inspiring to hear all the other books, and certainly, but it should inspire us to apply the words of Srila Prabhupada in our life, not that it becomes an alternative. We should increase our enthusiasm to study or hear from Prabhupada, the pure devotees. Because Prabhupada has also said we should hear other things, but no doubt about that. But there, generally speaking, Prabhupada, you see when he said, for more of this, you should read this book of Rupa Goswami, or this book of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They're not ordinary conditioned souls or even sadhakas, they're eternal associates. And what's coming through them is directly coming from the spiritual realm to this realm in a way which can be applied, which is relevant to the realm which we are in. Although we may be writing from a conditional platform with a bit of false ego mixed in there sometimes. Sometimes, I'm not saying it is, but it can be, So bear that in mind. I've got certain topics, guidebooks to Vrindavan. Obviously, that's something different. Science books, Prabhupada told his scientists to write, books, Krishna conscious books, of course, describing what is real science and so on. And certain practical things like that. In general, we should try to hear from Prabhupada every day. Lectures. And I think most of you have already got that magic box. The magic box that you can keep you fully absorbed in hearing Prabhupada 24 hours a day if you want. Isn't it amazing? It's something, it's such a simple thing. we've had all these fancy gadgets. I bought one fancy gadget this year. It doesn't do the job at all. You've got a mobile, so it's not quite the same. It's like some different energy. This one's kind of like really simple. It's so simple. There's nothing else there.